Before we begin, I want to ask you something. Where are you watching this from right now? What country are you in, and what time is it there as you listen to me? Take a moment to notice that. Yes, wherever you are, morning, night, or somewhere in between, you are here for a reason. You feel it, don't you? That quiet stirring inside you. Something is changing, but you cannot explain it. That restlessness, that unease, that subtle knowing it is your soul trying to reach you, and right now, at this very moment, it is speaking to you. By the end of this video, you will understand why you have been feeling this change, why your life no longer feels the same, and what these shifts inside you truly mean. Some of these truths may challenge everything you thought you knew about yourself. Some will feel like a revelation, awakening parts of you that have been asleep for years. But here's the key. This is not just information to hear, it is something to experience. Every insight builds on the last. Every lesson is a step closer to awakening the part of you that has been quietly waiting. And if you stay until the end, you will see why this moment, the exact moment you are watching this video, is no coincidence. So, wherever you are, whatever time it is, pay attention, not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Your life is quietly shifting, and this is the hour where understanding begins. The mind cannot explain the heart. You may feel a shift inside yourself, a quiet stirring that you cannot name. It might feel strange, even unsettling, because your mind wants to understand it. It wants to put it into words, give it a reason, and make sense of it. But the truth is, your mind can never fully understand your heart. The mind works in limits, in rules, in logic, and in what it can see and measure. The heart is boundless. It knows things before the mind can even begin to question. This change you feel is part of awakening. It cannot be explained with words or numbers, and it cannot be solved like a problem. It is felt deeply, like a current moving through your chest, or a quiet knowing that something in your life is shifting, even if you cannot say what. The more you try to control it, label it, or understand it, the more it slips away, like water through your fingers. The heart has its own language, and it speaks in feeling, in intuition, in longing. It may bring restlessness or subtle unease, or a sudden clarity that surprises you. It is showing you that you are alive in a way your mind has never been awake to before. Trust it. Follow that inner knowing, even if it makes no sense. That movement, this silent, unseen flow, is the beginning of true awakening. It is the first step in seeing yourself, your life, and the world in a deeper, more honest way. The mind will argue, question, and doubt. The heart will simply feel, simply know, and slowly guide you toward a place where words are not needed. Learn to listen, even when the mind grows impatient. The more you allow yourself to feel without reasoning it away, the more your heart will show you the truths that the mind could never reach. Change is the language of the soul. Sometimes you feel a subtle pull inside you, like something in your life is shifting, but you cannot explain why. It is not your mind telling you, it is your soul. Change is the language of the soul. It does not speak in words, in logic, or in plans. It speaks in feelings, in intuition, in a quiet longing that you cannot name. It whispers to you in small ways, a thought that lingers, a moment that touches you deeply, a sense that your life is moving in a direction you cannot yet see. This language of the soul is gentle but persistent. It may show itself as restlessness when you are surrounded by familiar routines. Things that once felt comfortable now feel heavy or even empty. People, places, or habits that used to bring you joy may no longer feel the same. This is not a loss, it is awakening. The soul is calling you toward what is real, toward what matters, toward what is waiting for you beyond the surface of your everyday life. You may try to ignore it. You may try to explain it or push it aside as imagination, mood, or coincidence. But the soul's language cannot be silenced. It speaks softly at first, then more insistently until you finally listen. It asks you to notice, to feel, to pay attention to the hidden currents of your life. It does not demand answers. It only asks awareness. When you follow this language, even in small ways, you begin to see patterns. You may notice guidance in moments you once overlooked, a thought that comes unexpectedly, a chance encounter, a feeling that pulls you to act differently than before. The soul communicates in ways the mind cannot predict. It teaches you patience, quiet observation, and trust. Change is not always comfortable. The soul's language may bring uncertainty, doubt, or a sense of not belonging, because it is pulling you away from old comforts and into new understanding. But it is always pointing you toward growth, toward clarity, and toward the deeper truth of who you are. If you listen closely, you begin to realize that this inner language is not just a feeling, it is a guide, a compass pointing toward your awakening. The beauty of this language is that it does not ask you to explain it. You do not have to understand it fully. You only need to feel it, to recognize it, and to allow it to move you. When you do, the rest of life begins to align with your inner awareness. The soul is speaking. Learn to hear it, even when the mind doubts. Learn to follow it, even when the path is not clear. This is how transformation begins, quietly, deeply, and without words. Trust the invisible path. Even though you cannot see it, even though the road ahead seems unclear, your life is moving along a path that is guided by something greater than your mind can understand. You may feel uncertainty, doubt, or fear because the next step is invisible. The destination is not yet clear. The signs are subtle. And yet, there is a rhythm, a current, a silent guidance that moves you forward, even when you cannot name it. This invisible path is not random. Every feeling, every thought, every change inside you is a signal, a gentle nudge from your inner self, guiding you toward what you need, toward what your heart truly seeks. You may feel pulled in directions you did not plan, toward experiences that do not make sense to your mind, but your soul recognizes them. The mind wants control, but the soul knows the way. Trusting this path does not mean that everything will be easy. There will be moments of doubt. There will be moments when you question yourself, when the world around you seems chaotic, when the familiar comforts you once relied on no longer satisfy. These are not signs of failure. They are signs that you are moving forward, leaving what no longer serves you, and stepping into a deeper understanding of life. The invisible path requires patience. It asks you to follow without always knowing where you are going. It asks you to feel, to listen, to trust your intuition, and to move even when the mind does not understand. Often, the lessons are not visible at the moment. You may only realize their meaning much later. The path works quietly, shaping your character, teaching resilience, and awakening your awareness, long before the mind can comprehend the journey. There is a rhythm to this invisible guidance. It may appear as repeated signs, small opportunities, coincidences, or sudden insights. The soul uses what the mind overlooks: the ordinary moments, the chance encounters, the feelings that quietly pull you in one direction. Learn to recognize these as messages, as markers on your path. They are not coincidences. They are proof that you are being led, step by step, toward the life you are meant to live. Trusting the invisible path is not blind faith. It is learning to listen to the quiet language of your heart, to feel the subtle currents of life, and to act even when certainty is not possible. It is a surrender that is not weakness, but wisdom. When you follow this guidance, even with small steps, the world begins to align in ways that feel miraculous, as if life itself is supporting your growth, even when you cannot see how or why. The path is invisible, but it is real. Your feelings, your intuition, and your subtle awareness are proof that it exists. Keep walking, even when the destination is unknown. Trust that each step is necessary. Trust that each shift, each uncertainty, each moment of restlessness is a guidepost, moving you closer to the deeper truth of yourself and the life your heart has been quietly seeking. Restlessness is the sign of growth. You may notice a quiet unrest inside you, a feeling that something is not quite right, even when everything seems normal. Perhaps routines that once felt comforting now feel heavy, familiar people feel distant, or activities that once brought joy no longer satisfy. This is not a problem. This is not a flaw. What you are feeling is a sign that your soul is growing. Restlessness is the language of awakening. The soul cannot remain stagnant. It does not thrive on repetition or comfort alone. It seeks expansion, depth, and understanding beyond what the mind can measure. When you feel uneasy or restless, it is your inner self signaling that it is time to move beyond the old patterns, the habits, and the routines that have kept you limited. It is as if your inner world is stirring, gently shaking the surface of your life to reveal what lies beneath. Restlessness is not meant to be feared or suppressed. Many people spend their lives trying to quiet it, to distract themselves from it, or to explain it away with excuses. But each moment of discomfort is an invitation to growth, a doorway to deeper understanding. The soul speaks through this unrest, guiding you toward experiences, reflections, and changes that the mind could never plan or predict. You may feel anxious, impatient, or uncertain during these times. That is natural. The mind resists change because it clings to the familiar. But the heart and the soul embrace transformation because they know that life unfolds in layers, and each layer is necessary for your awakening. The unease you feel is like a gentle wind blowing through the branches of your inner self, clearing away the old leaves to make room for new growth. Sometimes this restlessness manifests as curiosity, longing, or a sudden desire to explore new ideas, places, or connections. Sometimes it is quieter, a subtle shift in your mood, a feeling that nothing is quite as it once was. Pay attention to these moments. They are signals from your soul, guiding you toward what is next. Each flicker of discomfort is actually a gift, a reminder that you are alive, evolving, and ready for a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. The key is to embrace it rather than resist it. Sit with it, listen to it, allow yourself to feel it fully without rushing to fix it or name it. The more you resist, the longer the transformation takes. The more you accept it, the more the path forward becomes clear, even if only in small, quiet ways. Restlessness is not an obstacle. It is a guide, a teacher, and a sign that the soul is stirring, preparing you for the next stage of your journey. Remember, growth is never meant to be easy. True transformation often feels uncomfortable before it feels enlightening. But the restlessness you feel is proof that you are awake, that you are moving, and that the deeper parts of yourself are beginning to speak. Each moment of inner unease is a stepping stone toward clarity, strength, and the life your heart has been quietly seeking. Solitude is sacred. You may find yourself drawn to silence, to moments alone, to spaces where the world feels distant and your thoughts are free to move without interruption. You may feel guilty for seeking this solitude, thinking that life is meant to be busy, connected, and always in motion. But this longing for stillness is not a flaw or a weakness. It is the soul calling you to a deeper awareness. Solitude is sacred. When you are alone, without distraction, the layers of life begin to settle. The noise of expectations, responsibilities, and constant activity fades, and the quiet voice of your inner self becomes audible. In solitude, you begin to notice thoughts, feelings, and desires that were always there but drowned in the busyness of life. You discover what truly matters to you, not what the world expects. You hear the subtle movements of your heart, and you begin to understand yourself more clearly. This sacred solitude is not loneliness. It is not isolation. It is a space of connection with your own inner world, a place where your soul can breathe and stretch. In these moments, you may feel a strange mix of peace and intensity, a gentle calm paired with a deep sense of awakening. The soul speaks most clearly when there is space for it to speak. The heart begins to reveal what the mind cannot see, and understanding begins not with logic, but with feeling. Solitude allows you to see patterns in your life, to understand your choices, and to recognize the truths that your mind often overlooks. In these quiet moments, you may notice impulses, intuitions, or ideas that feel important, even though you cannot explain why. These are whispers from the deeper parts of yourself, guiding you toward clarity, alignment, and understanding. They are the language of your soul, and solitude is the only place where that language can be heard fully. Many people fear being alone because it brings up thoughts, emotions, and questions they would rather avoid. But the sacredness of solitude lies exactly in facing yourself honestly, without distraction, without escape. In the quiet, your heart teaches you lessons that the world cannot, showing you what you truly value, who you truly are, and what your life is quietly calling you toward. Embracing solitude allows the soul to grow. It sharpens your awareness, strengthens your intuition, and deepens your connection with yourself. Even a few moments of genuine stillness each day can bring profound insight, guiding your decisions, shaping your perspective, and allowing your inner light to shine more clearly in the world. Solitude is not a luxury, it is a necessity for those who wish to awaken fully. It is the sacred space where transformation begins. Every thought, every feeling, every subtle realization that arises in these moments is a gift. The more you honor your need for stillness, the more the soul will speak, the heart will guide, and the invisible path will reveal itself. Let go of the need to understand. You may feel a strong urge to understand everything that is happening inside you, to name the changes, to find reasons, and to make sense of every feeling. The mind wants answers, explanations, and clarity. It wants to organize life into neat boxes and logical patterns. But the truth is, your soul does not follow the rules of the mind. It moves in ways that cannot be fully explained. It grows in silence, in mystery, and in surrender. There is a subtle wisdom in letting go of the need to understand. When you release the pressure to make sense of every shift, every restlessness, every longing, something deeper begins to open inside you. Your heart can feel freely, your intuition can speak, and your inner guidance can move without interference. Trying to force clarity often blocks this process. The mind wants to control what the heart is ready to explore naturally, and in doing so, it interrupts the flow of your awakening. You may notice that when you stop demanding answers, life begins to unfold more clearly. Patterns appear, insights arrive, and opportunities open themselves in ways that could never have been predicted. What once seemed confusing now begins to make quiet sense, not because your mind has figured it out, but because your soul has been allowed to move in its own rhythm. Letting go does not mean ignoring your feelings or avoiding reality. It means trusting the process, trusting yourself, and trusting the subtle intelligence that guides your inner life. It means accepting that some things are not meant to be understood immediately, that some truths reveal themselves only in time, and that the deeper journey of life cannot be rushed. There is freedom in surrendering the need to understand. Anxiety fades when you stop trying to explain every sensation. Clarity comes not from overthinking but from feeling deeply and observing honestly. You begin to notice small signs, intuitive nudges, and moments of synchronicity that guide you forward. Life begins to flow in alignment with your inner self, and you feel less resistance, more peace, and a quiet confidence that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. This surrender is a practice, a gentle discipline of the heart. Each time you let go of the need to understand, you strengthen your connection to your own inner wisdom. You create space for insight, growth, and awakening. You allow yourself to be guided by your feelings, your intuition, and the subtle currents of life that the mind often overlooks. Remember, the soul grows in mystery, not in certainty. Some of the most profound changes happen when you stop demanding answers, stop seeking control, and allow life to speak to you in its own quiet, subtle way. Let go, trust the process, and allow your heart to lead, even when your mind cannot follow. In that surrender, awakening begins. Signs appear in everyday life. If you pay close attention, you will begin to notice subtle signs appearing in your everyday life. These signs are not loud or dramatic. They are quiet, gentle, and often easy to overlook. They may come as a fleeting thought, a sudden insight, a feeling that pulls you in a certain direction, or even a coincidence that seems too meaningful to be random. The ordinary world begins to speak to you, guiding you toward the deeper truth that your heart already knows. At first, these signs may feel like small nudges, easy to dismiss. Perhaps a stranger says something that resonates deeply, or a situation unfolds in a way that seems meaningful, or an idea arises in your mind that you cannot explain. These moments are not accidents. They are the language of your inner life, reflections of the soul communicating through the world around you. Every encounter, every experience, every tiny coincidence carries a message if you are awake enough to see it. The beauty of these signs is that they teach you to pay attention. Life, which once felt random or chaotic, begins to show patterns. You begin to notice that your intuition, your feelings, and your subtle perceptions are guiding you in ways your mind cannot understand. The soul is always moving, always guiding, and these signs are the gentle ways it whispers direction to you. Sometimes, these signs are simple. A book falls open to a passage that speaks to exactly what you are feeling. A song captures the emotion of your inner state, or someone's words resonate with an unspoken part of you. Sometimes they are more subtle, a feeling of certainty, a pull toward someone or something, a hesitation that tells you to pause. These are all invitations to notice, to reflect, and to follow the path that is quietly unfolding. As you become more aware of these signs, you begin to trust life in a new way. You realize that the world is not just a collection of random events, but a mirror of your own inner state. Every detail, no matter how small, carries meaning. The more you observe, the more aligned your life becomes with your soul. These signs do not always provide immediate clarity, but over time they reveal a pattern, a direction, and a deeper understanding of the journey you are on. The soul communicates constantly, but it speaks in ways that the busy mind often misses. Paying attention to signs is a practice of awakening. It requires patience, presence, and a willingness to notice the subtle currents of life. When you cultivate this awareness, you begin to see that life is guiding you gently, step by step, toward what your heart truly needs. Remember, the signs are not meant to control you or give you all the answers. They are invitations, small lights showing you glimpses of the way forward. Trust them, follow them, let them remind you that you are on a path that is alive, meaningful, and guided. When you open your eyes to these signs, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and every moment of life carries a message from your own soul. Compassion and awareness deepen. As your inner world shifts, you begin to notice a change, not just within yourself, but in how you perceive everything around you. Your awareness deepens, and with it comes a natural expansion of compassion. You see life differently. You begin to understand the struggles, the joys, and the fears of others in ways that you could not before. Their actions, their words, their choices are no longer just events in the outside world. They become reflections of the deeper human experience, and you feel it in your heart. This compassion is not something you force. It grows quietly, naturally, as your soul awakens. You start to care without expectation, to listen without judgment, and to see beyond appearances. Even in situations that once frustrated or angered you, there is now a sense of patience, a deeper understanding that everyone is on their own journey, learning, growing, and evolving just as you are. Your heart begins to carry a quiet wisdom that each life, including your own, is part of a larger tapestry, and that your responses have the power to reflect love, understanding, and awareness into that world. Alongside this compassion, your awareness becomes sharper. You notice the subtle energy of moments, the small shifts in relationships, and the unspoken feelings that hover in conversations. You sense when something is off, or when something is aligned. You become attuned, not just to the physical world, but to the hidden currents that move through life, the unseen guidance, the small synchronicities, the inner signals that the soul sends to guide you forward. With this growing awareness, you begin to act differently. Decisions are no longer made out of habit or fear. Actions come from insight, from understanding, and from a connection to a deeper truth. You see the impact of your words, your gestures, and your presence on others. You understand that even small acts of kindness, patience, or listening carry weight and create ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. This deepened compassion and awareness also bring a profound sense of responsibility, but not a heavy burden. It is the responsibility to live consciously, to honor your inner voice, and to allow your heart to guide your actions. You no longer live only for yourself, but in harmony with the flow of life around you. You understand that growth is not only personal, it is collective, and that your awakening has the power to influence, inspire, and illuminate the world in ways both visible and unseen. The transformation may be subtle at first, but over time, you notice it in everything. In the patience with a loved one, in the quiet understanding of a stranger, in the empathy you feel for situations you cannot change. Your heart has expanded, your perception has sharpened, and life begins to feel richer, more meaningful, and more alive. Ultimately, this deepened compassion and awareness is the soul's gift for those who pay attention, who listen, and who allow themselves to awaken fully. It is a natural evolution, a blossoming of the heart that reflects the wisdom, insight, and love that have always existed within you, waiting for you to see them. Your life becomes a mirror of the soul's awakening, a living expression of the deeper truth that everything is connected, and that the heart, when open, carries the power to transform not only your life, but the lives of all those around you. Now, take a deep breath and feel for a moment. Notice the quiet shift inside you, the subtle knowing, the stirring that has been growing throughout this video. You may not be able to name it yet, and that is exactly how it should be. Some truths are not meant to be understood immediately. They are meant to be felt. They are meant to guide you silently, slowly, toward the life your heart has been quietly seeking. Remember that every restlessness, every subtle longing, every moment of unease is a sign that your soul is awake, guiding you toward clarity, growth, and deeper awareness. These changes you feel are not random. They are part of your path, your journey, your evolution. You are being prepared for a life that is fuller, richer, and more aligned with who you truly are. Carry this awareness into your days. Notice the signs in your life, the subtle nudges that ask you to pay attention. Trust your intuition. Honor your solitude. Let go of the need to control or fully understand everything. Feel your heart more than you analyze your mind. Every small step, every moment of attention, every quiet reflection strengthens the awakening that is already happening within you. And know this, you are not alone. Every person who feels this shift, every soul awakening in this way, is connected to the same current of life, the same energy guiding you forward. Your journey is unique, yet it is part of something far greater than yourself. So, as this video ends, do not let the lessons fade. Carry them with you. Let them shape the way you see yourself, the world, and everything in between. Allow your heart to guide you. Allow your awareness to expand. And remember, this is only the beginning. The path is already moving beneath your feet, and your soul is quietly leading you toward a life that is deeper, more conscious, and more alive than ever before. Your awakening has begun. Honor it, follow it, and never forget that the quiet shift you feel is the first step toward everything your heart has been waiting for.